Hello everyone, and welcome to another video. And welcome to Marxist John, episode 10. I was on a mission to make our man's life as miserable as possible, and there was one of my characters that he hadn't contacted, Flora. So, Flora would like to introduce you to Marxist John. As our man wouldn't contact Flora, Flora decided to make the first move. She sent him a message. "Are you John Mark Smith, that used to live in Nottingham?" she asked. "No," he replied. "I lives in Germany, but working in Turkey, Istanbul right now." And we've heard all that before, haven't we, ladies and gentlemen? And look, his profile still says he's a journalist in the United States of America, and he's always told us that he's working in Turkey. Well, wait for it. "Okay," said Flora. "Apologies for bothering you. I'm a secretary with a firm of solicitors, and we're trying to trace a gentleman called John Mark Smith. He's named to his advantage in a will that's been lodged with us. All we know is that he used to live in Nottingham. Unfortunately, he has a very common last name, which is making it more difficult to trace him." "Okay," he said. "Good Sunday to you. How's your health been today?" "It's fine, thanks," said Flora, "but I think you probably meant to send that message to someone else." "It is you I directly sent it to," he said. "Oh, okay," said Flora. "Tell me more about Mark Smith, John. What happened?" he said. "John Mark Smith?" said Flora. "Why are you guys tracing him?" he asked. "Because I am Mark Smith John on here." "All we know is that he used to live in Nottingham," said Flora. "One of our clients has left him a legacy in his will, which has recently gone through probate. Unfortunately, he didn't specify the gentleman's address, just that he was living in Nottingham at the time the will was written in 2008. And notice as we go through this video just how many chances Flora gives our man to take the bait and claim that he's the person named in the will and claim the money. "Well then," he said, "the names looks alike." "We think that he's possibly in his mid or late 50s, said Flora, "but that's speculation." To which our man replied, "I am a beneficial risks investigators here. We investigate about scammers agencies on here. What exactly you want from this guy? Hello?" "Oh no," said Flora, "there was no scam involved. Our client earned his money from his car sales business. In the will, he says that John Mark Smith saved his life in 1991, but it doesn't say how or where. He's left him a large amount of money. None of his nieces or nephews know anything about Mr. Smith. It's a puzzle." "I understand everything you said our man. "Are you married there?" "I don't see how that's relevant," said Flora. "As I'm talking to you, I've just realised something. We don't actually know for 100% certain that the will refers to Nottingham in England," said Flora, giving him yet another chance to claim that he might be the person named in the will. "There might be other places in the US or Canada or Australia, for example, that are called Nottingham. The will just refers to, quote, the young gentleman who saved my life in 1991. That was 30 years ago, so we're just assuming the gentleman is in his 50s. We don't actually know where our client was in 1991. He would have been 60 then, I think." "You can see my profile photo," said our man. "Do I look like him?" "I have no idea," said Flora. "We don't have a photo of him. How old are you?" "I am 61 older now," he said. "I completed 61 October 16th last year." "So you'd have been 30 in 1991, said Flora. "Probably too old. I need to look on a map and see how many other places there are called Nottingham." "I'm not saying I'm the person you're talking about here," he said, adding completely irrelevantly, "I'm a single father with one daughter, 27 old here. Are you married there? How old are you?" "I really don't see how that helps," said Flora. "I barely knew our client." "I'm looking for a sincere woman to remarry again," he said. "Oh, good luck," said Flora. "Tell me about yourself then. I'm 68. I should have retired 3 years ago, but I love my job, so I stayed part-time." "Nice meeting you here," he said. "Are you divorced there, or in your marriage home there?" "You do ask a lot of personal questions," said Flora. "I'm divorced. I did ask you to tell me about yourself. Hello, was his reply immediately after. That's all you have to tell me about yourself? Asked Flora. Okay, said her man. Meaning? Asked Flora, and here comes his latest story. I am working in oil spillage in the high sea of Japan. My dad is German and my mum is Spanish woman. I got one daughter. She's 27 old and she just got married last year. My parents are dead and my youngest brother died 3 months ago. I'm a Catholic member. How odd, said Flora. You told me you were in Turkey. Yes, our head office is in Turkey, Istanbul. Oh, okay, said Flora. Yes, he said. Do you have kid or kids there? I have an adult daughter, said Flora. One child? He asked. Yes, said Flora. Last time I looked, there was just one of her. I understand, he said. No grandkid yet? Not yet, but I'm hopeful, said Flora. She and her partner have been together for almost 5 years. It is well, he said. God's timing is the best. Likewise me. My daughter is pregnant 3 months now. Hopefully, I'm expecting a grandchild. How lovely for you, said Flora. Thank you, he said. So you lives in the UK? I live in Woking, yes, said Flora. How's the COVID thing going on there, he asked. I don't really know, said Flora. We don't do nearly so much testing, and I've stopped looking at the figures. What's it been like in Japan? Social distance allowed here, he said. OK, replied Flora. Tell me about your work. It sounds interesting. What do you have to do? It's all about crude old black oil spillage, he said, working on pipes that were damaged. On land or at sea? Asked Flora. Oh, you said at sea. Are you a diver? Both lands and sea, even communities as well, he said. Oh, OK, said Flora. I'm heading my department workers here. I don't work too much. I'll get my retirement soon, maybe in 2 years from now. Not much longer to wait, said Flora. Yeah, he said, but I normally come to state every 6 months in a year, so twice a year. Just for your vacation? Asked Flora. I got house in Germany and Texas City, but I normally based in Germany most. Yes, he said, in reply to her saying just for your vacation. I've never been to Germany, said Flora. Where in Germany do you live? Austin, he said. Are you a Christian there? My street name is Georgetown Branch, in Germany. Huh? He said, because she hadn't answered if she was a Christian. No, she said, I'm not a Christian. I didn't know there was a place in Germany called Austin, but like I said, I've never been to Germany. You're 68 old, he said. How old is your daughter there? Well, if I may ask, can you send your email? Let's hang out from here. I'm not regular here. We can Google chat or hang out from here if you want. She's 36, said Flora. I use Hangout regularly in office, he said. OK, she said, giving him her email address. I'll catch up with you there, but I have to go and do the washing up and tidy the kitchen. And so, of course, they moved to Hangouts. Hi, said our man. It's me, Mark Smith, John. Why are you called John? Asked Flora. That's how my friends calls me, he said. Mark Smith John is my middle name. My real name is Andrew Gunter. It is based on security reasons. Never mind. You mean you're called Andrew Mark Smith John Gunter, said Flora. No, he said. My real name is Andrew Gunter. I use my middle name for my Facebook profile. Facebook name, sorry, but I prefer you call me Andrew Gunter. My real name. You confused me, said Flora, and believe me, he's going to carry on confusing you. If Mark Smith John is your middle name, then surely your full name is Andrew Mark Smith John Gunter. Call me Andrew Gunter, OK, said our confused scammer. This is my personal Gmail. It is my office app, so it's my real name on here. Andrew Gunter, my name. What's your time there? It's almost 8:30, said Flora. Don't forget, I told you I'm a beneficiaries investigators here, he said. That is also part of my job in state, because I was scammed by a woman before. That makes me to join the beneficiaries. So again, I want real here. Be honest with me, And we've heard all that before, ladies and gentlemen, haven't we? My real name is Andrew Gunter." "I don't know what that means," said Flora. "Did you mean to send it to someone else?" "And why your photo not on your profile here?" he asked. "I guess you did," said Flora, "because 'so again, I want real' here was probably meant to go to one of your clients. Why have you suddenly decided to be rude? Why do you think my photo should be on here? I see no reason why the entire world should know my business. It was your idea to use chat, not mine. I just use it for talking to my daughter and a few friends. Is beneficialist a German word?" "Sorry," he said. "I thought you were busy before. I wanting to get shower and smell good tonight here. A beneficialist investigators were those investigating scammers. I joined them 2 years ago. If I been in state, I resume work with them. That will be my job. I will continue doing, even if I retired working here. Are you here?" "I asked you if beneficialist is a German word," said Flora. "Yes," he said. "Good night. Sweet dreams." And so, the following morning, he sent her one of those good morning gifts. "Okay," said Flora. "Could you tell me what beneficialist means in English? If it means what I think it does, you might be able to help us track down the person we're looking for. Do you just investigate scams, or do you track down relatives, friends, etc. as well?" "All of the above," he said. "Beneficialist investigators is all about investigating scammers agencies. If you bring your case to us, we'll help you to investigate whosoever you want us to investigate, and you will drop the person's details, like his or her photo and home address and phone number, we'll use to track him or her, because the State House of Authority, called UN, were involved as well. Even the FBI is involved too, plus the securities too. We're all tracking machine systems available." Sorry, this guy's spelling is just awful, isn't it? "All you just have to do is to pay for tracking, because we use Wi-Fi internet connections, and it's not going to cost you much. But remember that after we track your client, you'll have to pay an amount of money to the beneficialist investigators that do help you to get your money. And after everything done, we'll take the victims to Zoom for everyone to see. Then we'll arrest him or her. This is all about beneficialist investigators. Thank you. I'm sending you some of the victims we investigated last year," he continued, "while I was in state." Then he sent her several photographs of people being arrested. "We investigate both lands, properties, etc., he said. "You just be very careful with the internet here, okay? Good day." "Thanks for that information," said Flora. "I don't think you'll be able to help us. We aren't looking for a scammer. We're looking for someone who's been left money in a will. We don't have the information you asked for. Obviously, if we had the gentleman's photo, phone number and home address, we wouldn't need to hire someone to find him for us, would we? We'd know where to find him and could send him a letter or visit him in person. I think what we're looking for, probably, is a private investigator. Someone who could find people with a name John Mark Smith, and then find out if they saved our late client's life in 1991. That isn't an event that someone would forget, so it shouldn't be hard to know if they found the right person, giving our man yet another opportunity to claim he remembered. "It's possible we could do what you wanted there," he said. "Hello? Your job to us is investigating job. Our office can help you very well." "Okay," said Flora. "Do you think you could find the gentleman?" "Yes," he said. "We assume he lives in the UK," continued Flora, "but we don't know for certain." "You can't just assume like that," he said. "You don't even know if he is arrested somewhere around the world. If you have his photo, send it." "We have no reason to assume he's been involved in criminal activity," said Flora. "I already told you we don't have his photo. It would be much easier to find him if we did." "Okay," he said. "The only information we have is that he saved our client's life in 1991. We don't know where or how, but we assume it would be a memorable event that the real person would be able to tell us about. At this stage, we're not prepared to divulge our client's name. We're looking for someone who remembers saving a man's life in 1991. "I understand," said our man. "Okay," said Flora. "So," he said, "how are you doing today? Seems you're busy through." "I'm just about to leave work," said Flora. "If you think you might be able to help, Could you send us a short explanation of how you might start tracking down the gentleman, please? Preferably with your company's contact details." "Right," he said. "How's work going there?" "We can't really do anything until we receive your company details," she said, "and an explanation of how you work." "You can check on Google," he said. "Our job details are there." "Firstly," said Flora, "I don't know what your company is called. Secondly, if you wish to work for us, we will need proper details from you, in an email or as an attachment." And so our man hopped online and found a Tracer beneficiary advert. "This is a short information about our job here," he said. "OK," said Flora, "that's helpful. Thank you. I'll download that and read it. What is your company called?" Our man sent a random search that he'd done online. "What is your company's name, please?" asked Flora. To which our man replied, "It's called PDF Guide. You just have to trust and carry out investigations. Talk later. Busy now, sorry." "No," said Flora. "I asked what's the name of the company you work for, please." "I've told you," he said. "It's called PDF Guide. That's it." "Oh," said Flora. "You do know what a PDF Guide is, do you? Are they based in Germany?" Our man, who had no idea what a PDF Guide is, replied, "Yes. We also have office in Atlanta and Wisconsin." "OK," said Flora. "I will show your summary to the partners at work tomorrow, and we'll get back to you." "Hi," he said. "OK then. Are you home yet?" "Hello." "Of course I am," said Flora. "It's nearly 9 p.m. "Yes, it is," he said. "Same here. We're in the same time zones here. And guess what? Have you showered and had dinner already?" "The same time zones?" said Flora. "How did that happen?" "We're in Turkey, Istanbul, right now." "Did they move Turkey to the high seas of Japan?" asked Flora. "It's our head office here. Workers' lodge here." "Yes," said Flora, "but you're in Japan." "We work in Japan," he said, "but since 5 days now. We came here 1 week in and 1 week out." "You were in Japan yesterday," said Flora. "I told you, I'm the heading my department workers here." "In Japan," added Flora. "I wasn't in Japan yesterday. Was telling you all about me then." "Who is me?" asked Flora. "Myself," he said. "Well, myself was in Japan yesterday," said Flora, copying and pasting the bit where he said, "I'm working in oil spillage in the high sea of Japan." "Yes, that's it," he said. "But weren't in Japan right now. By weekend we're leaving. You just got it all wrong." And then he sent her another one of those gifs. To which Flora replied, "Got it all wrong? Which bit of 'I'm working in oil spillage in the high sea of Japan' did I get wrong? I am working, or in the high sea of Japan?" "You got it right about that," he said. "But remember, we can't just spend all our time in the high sea. Won't we rest?" "Ooh, but them pirates might get at you. Ask some of the other scammers on here." "I'm sure you do," said Flora, "but you definitely told me you were in Japan yesterday. Now you tell me you weren't in Japan yesterday. I can't imagine both are correct. If this is the kind of lack of attention to detail you display, then I really don't think we could employ you. I'd never know which of the things you're saying are correct and which are incorrect." And so our man sent a photo of what might be an oil tanker, I wouldn't know, followed by a photo of an oil spill in a road, followed by a whole load of men clearing up an oil spill, probably on the beach, followed by more men clearing up an oil spill on the beach. "I have no idea what those photos are supposed to mean," said Flora. "Or are you saying that any report you send us would just be photos with no text? I don't think that would be acceptable." Our man then sent a photo of himself. "I'm not sure what that's meant to tell me either," said Flora. "As I said, we would need a full written report, not just photographs." "Like I said," he replied, "I've been honest with you here, and I'm not begging you to give me job here. I am capably of myself. You don't even believe in yourself. I've proven enough of me to you. Trust yourself." "I truly have no idea what you're talking about," said Flora. "Did you mean to send that message to someone else? I apologise for wasting your time. Clearly you aren't the John Mark Smith that we're trying to trace, and clearly your way of working is incompatible with the requirements of our firm, as we would require a full written report." Good morning here, he said the next morning. Sorry, I am not interested. I don't work with untrusted people. And he sent her another one of those good morning gifts. Regrettably, replied Flora, we are unable to work with companies that are unable to provide a full written report and a proper contract in advance of undertaking the work. I agreed with you, he said. Good morning. How was your night? Good morning, said Flora. As we agree, is there any point in continuing our conversation? It's a shame that we can't work together, but it seems that it wouldn't work out. I heard you, he said, but I believed what I'm talking about here. I don't force myself on people to give me job here. That's okay, said Flora. I never said you were forcing yourself. I don't know what gave you that idea. I simply asked if you could help, and it seems we're unable to work together. And so he tried calling her. Did you mean to call, or was it a mistake? Said Flora. I'll assume it was a mistake and go back outside. Sure, we can work together, he said. Sorry, I pressed the wrong button. Sorry, the reception is not good enough. We can talk later. Today is a busy day today. Sadly, replied Flora, I don't believe that we can work together. You've made it clear that you can only work on trust and cannot provide a full written quote or contract. We are unable to work with companies that cannot provide those. Hi, he said. We're special agencies in the United States. When I return from my working here, I will see what can do about that. Okay, said Flora. We don't have to argue about these, he said. I wasn't aware that we were arguing, said Flora. You were the one that said you do not work with untrusted people. Or, he said, you can involve the state police or FBI to investigate until I return back. Why would I want to involve the police or FBI? Asked Flora. I'm sorry. Please forgive me, he said. Have you not understood? Said Flora. No crime has been committed. We're simply trying to trace someone who's been left some money in a will. I understand you better, he said. You were talking about pissing person here, right? And I know he corrected himself, but I just had to read that out to you anyway. Missing! Sorry. What? Said Flora. ROFL. Okay, not exactly missing. We just don't know who or where he is. Good. That's what we're talking here, he said. I got you right. At last, said Flora. You can't do it alone, he said. Why don't you go to the radio station? Lots of ways to look for this guy you're talking about here. I know there are, said Flora. You were the one that offered to help. Yes, I do, he said. I simply contacted you to ask if you're called John Mark Smith and whether or not you saved someone's life in 1991. But with your conditions there, he said, I think you really don't trust me any more. It appears that you're the one with trust issues, said Flora. It's taken you until now to realise that tracing someone named in a will does not make them a criminal. You're sticking for helping hands here, he said. You should have been more convinced by my words. I have absolutely no idea what this is supposed to mean, said Flora. It's okay, he said. I will continue looking for the gentleman in question, she said, as you're not the person we're trying to find. We've helped lots of people on here, he said. I'm sure you have, replied Flora. That's no concern of mine. As I made it clear, we're not looking for someone who was involved in criminal activity. It could happen, he said. Some second-stand seas got him to somewhere else, like prison yard. Sorry, we were just guesting here. Now you're just typing gobbledygook, said Flora. How's your working there, he asked. What on earth are you talking about, said Flora. Have you been drinking? No, he said. High on an illegal substance, she asked. Guesting here. Sorry, he said. No, said Flora. You're not a guest. You're just a random person I contacted on Facebook. No, he said. I'm about to round up working for today. As you're now typing random, irrelevant rubbish, said Flora, I think it would be best if we parted company. There's no way I could recommend you to the partners in our firm. Goodbye. Someone you're looking for, he said. You doesn't even have the idea about where he is. We were just guessing where he could be. I'm not aware that you made any suggestions for where he could be, said Flora. I personally have no idea where he is, which is why I asked if you were the gentleman we're looking for. I'm sure I'll find others with similar names that I can contact. Do you really want a helping hand? He asked. Help would be appreciated, said Flora, but sadly you've made it clear that you're unable to do that. I'd told you I can help you in all ways over there, he said. No, you didn't, said Flora. Remembered? I told you to trust and believe, he said. If you feel you can help, replied Flora, please provide me with a list of people with the name we're looking for so I can contact them. We do not work on trust and belief. We work with proper written contracts, which you've made it very plain you're not prepared to provide. This conversation is at an end, unless or until you explain in detail, in writing, how you feel you can assist. OK, he said. I'll contact my secretary in state about that. Listen carefully. Do not be double-minded there. You just have to trust it will work out for you. If I may ask you something here, do you know the face of this person you're talking about here? Can you recognise his face? I asked the same question yesterday, and I'm asking again. I've told you several times, replied Flora, that we do not have a photo. It's you that needs to listen carefully, because quite frankly, I'm sick and tired of repeating myself. You clearly have difficulties with basic understanding, so I'd definitely not trust you to undertake any work for us. It's okay, he said. One can only hope that your secretary, whatever that is, has a better level of comprehension than you have. Really? Said our man. And for once, Flora replied, yes, very definitely. So unless you can provide me with a list of contacts with the same name as the gentleman we're seeking, I do not wish to continue this conversation. I will continue the search myself. I apologise for wasting your time. Do you know we're missing something here? He asked. Your brain? Asked Flora. No, he said. You and I were supposed to meet with each other's in the future life matters. Now you're typing random rubbish again, said Flora. You are drunk, aren't you? I'm looking for a sincere woman and a good relationship here, he said. I speak all kinds of languages. What on earth are you babbling on about? Said Flora. I'm not drunk, he said. If you aren't drunk, you're either high on illegal substances or you have mental health issues, said Flora. I want to love you and to meet you, he said. Then you'll have to come to Woking, said Flora. Yes, we can put hands together. It will work out for you. Do you really want to remarry again there? No, said Flora. I have no desire to marry again. Why? He asked. I'm perfectly happy on my own, said Flora. Not nice, he said. You aren't too old to remarry there. However, she said, if you wish to meet, you'll have to come to Woking. There are several hotels or B&Bs that you could stay in. Let me know if you decide to come. I will come to meet with you, he said. I've been to UK before. More than twice. More than twice, said Flora. Do you mean 3 times? It's God that brought us together now, he said, and I'll not lose this opportunity. Why did you come to the UK? He asked. OK. Why do you think he came to the UK? Yes, 3 times, he said. I got friends there. Oh, OK, said Flora. Anywhere near Woking? What do you think a single father will do? He asked. I don't understand what that means, said Flora. I travel to different places in the country. You came on holiday for sightseeing, or you came for work? Sightseeing, he said. Where did you go? Do you know rugby? He asked, because obviously that's why you come to the UK, is to go sightseeing in rugby. Look it up, guys. Not really, no, said Flora. Do you know where that place is in the UK, he asked. I know where it is, said Flora, but I've never been there. OK, he said. It's not far from Birmingham, is it? Asked Flora. You're right, he said. Why did you go sightseeing in rugby? Asked Flora. I've never thought of it as a tourist attraction. Well, I got some challenges with a friend of mine there, he said, in Church Street. Rugby, Warwickshire. You remember that, right back at the beginning. Home of those banks that he was trying to get Denise to go to. That was last year, he said. Oh dear, said Flora. Was your friend ill? Yes, he said. That's sad, said Flora. I hope they're OK now. Not really, he said, but I used to contact them. Hopefully, I will try to pay them a visit when I return. OK, said Flora. Let me know if you decide to come to Woking. I have to go out now. Please, he said. Tell me more about yourself there. You're a beautiful woman there. I'd really love to meet with you in person. Where are you going? Hope you don't like late-night movements there. Why don't you send me a picture of you as you're going out there? I have no idea what I hope you don't like late night movement means, said Flora, and I have absolutely no intention of sending you pictures. Hi, he said. What have I done wrong to you? Why can't you send me a picture of you? And he sent her some kind of happy video that I haven't even bothered to play. And Flora replied, We're discussing a business transaction. There's absolutely no need for you to have my photograph. You have some very unusual ideas about how to conduct your business affairs. It's okay, he said, but be careful with the internet, that's all. Good afternoon here. I am being careful, said Flora. That's why we can't work with anyone that can't provide full company details and a full written proposal. Thanks for your concern. Good evening, he said, and at that point, Flora decided she'd had enough of him and ignored him. And believe me, if I get an opportunity to wind up a man again with yet another character, I will. As I think I said in an earlier video, I did try to get some other fellow scam baiters involved, but he never took enough of the bait for me to be able to pass him on. We were trying to get a phone number out of him at one point, because one of my fellow scam baiters only does telephone scam baiting, but I couldn't get him to give it to me. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like it, please share it, please comment down below, please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you again in another video. Who knows, that might even be Mark Sith John, episode 11.